Well, hey crafty friends, it's Heidi Scott with DIYDreaming, and I have a really fabulous craft project for you today. We are going to be making some Easter tea towels in blue and white that are inspired by Delftware, which, in case you're not familiar with that, it's that traditional blue and white that can be done in a zillion different styles, and I have lots of examples that I just didn't have time to dig everything out, but here's a couple. These are obviously a new, well, they're not new, but they're, you know, a modern item. And then I wanted to show you this also, just because it's fun and it tells you a little something about me. Okay, so, and then we'll jump in and let me show you where we're going. Oh my gosh, I cannot even believe how fabulous this turned out. Look at that. Okay, so here's the funny story. When I graduated from law school, yes, I was a lawyer before I was an at-home mommy, and before I started doing all this crafting stuff online. When I graduated from law school, my mom knew that I loved dishes and I loved all things blue and white, and she knew that I loved treasures from Goodwill. So she found this huge set of beautiful pieces that are called Coral Reef Vernon kilns, made in the United States, with blue and white with all these fish. And I was like 24 years old, and I didn't know really why I loved all this blue and white stuff. I just knew that I did. So anyways, this is the inspiration, is all this blue and white ceramic stuff. So we're going to be making tea towels that are going to have, this is a new design called Easter Blessings. This little bunny that says Happy Easter. This little Easter egg that says Easter Blessings. These kind of remind me of either a toile or I don't know if I'm saying this right, chinoiserie type design. We're going to use that, and we're going to use this. This is the new vintage rabbit pattern stencil from MagnoliaDesignCo. It has 7 fabulous little bunnies. We're going to be stenciling that on tea towels. I'll show you the whole process, using this wonderful color of ink from Magnolia called Berry Blue, and then we're going to be painting, way diluting painting, and then I'm going to show you what other touches you can add to your tea towels using ribbon, and we will be using fabric hot glue, so after they're heat set they'll be washable just like any other tea towel. So that's where we're going. And I have been playing and experimenting, and you cannot see how beautiful this tea towel is on this video, but it is spectacular. So I'm going to make 2 like this, and then I have 2 that we're going to do something fun with, the egg and the bunny. And then next week or the week after, I will be giving these away. So that's the plan. What do you guys think so far? Aren't they pretty? And I think they're just so different. Okay, so before I came live, I obviously stenciled this one, and we're going to do that so I can make a second one. And I stenciled these. And I used that berry blue ink and these stencils that I just showed you. All right, then I let them dry and I heat set them, and I'll if I can remember, I'll show you that process. But basically, once they're dry, you just put a piece of parchment paper over them, use an iron set on cotton, no steam, go over it for 3 or 4 minutes. You do that before you come back in and paint. Okay, so let me throw these over here. And let's get started. All right, these are really nice tea towels that you can get either from MagnoliaDIY.com. They come in a set of 2, Or I can send you an Amazon link if you want to buy a big package of them. They're calf brand. They're just super nice. They're like 20 by 30, I think, is what the dimensions are. The only thing is, they aren't folded properly, and that kind of bugs me. So I am just going to determine what the center is by pinching and bending it, and then I'm going to use this awesome little craft mat right here to figure out where I want to put this all over vintage rabbit pattern. And I need to move my diluted ink out of the way so I don't spill it. Alright, so let's set it right here, and the center is 10, so I'm going to go 4 inches on either side, and I am just going to use some blue painter's tape to mark that off. How is everyone doing? You guys, this is not hard at all, and you can take this idea of way diluting your ink after you've stenciled with it in any color, and you can do some really beautiful things, and you don't have to be artistic. The only thing that I will say is that you have to be patient for each step to dry, and that's not my strong suit, being patient, but anyways, that's what you got to do. Okay, so I'm going to go over to 14. And let me know also if you want info on this crafting mat, because I tell you what, it is super handy for projects like this. I'm just marking off where the edges are, and when I heat set this, I will press it so that it folds properly. They don't have it folded in the center. Okay, Verda says she got her tea towels at Tractor Supply. I don't think we have that, but other people might, and yeah, I'm always on the lookout for tea towels, because as soon as I make a pretty set and use it, it never fails. My husband will use one of the new tea towels that I have to clean the coffee pot. I'm like, why do you do that? But these are so affordable that it's not a super big deal to keep making more. And like I said at the start, these will be washable and usable, even with the ribbon glued on it, because I'm going to be using Surebonder Cool Shot low temperature hot glue. Okay, and really there's no particular spot that I need to start at. I do want it to run straight up and down though, because there is a direction in this design. I don't have it down far enough. Maybe we just won't stencil this cup here at the end. Let me get one more piece of tape. So my thoughts about tea towels are, I've said this many times, you can never be too thin, too rich, too young, or have too many tea towels. That's how I feel. We have more than a whole drawer of them. Most of them I have made, and they make a great little just gift for a friend, or a hostess gift, or, you know, an end of the year teacher type gift. They're awesome. Okay. Looking to see where are my bunnies. You know what? I think I want to scoot it down because I don't want to cut off this bunny's head up here at the very top. This is just going to take a moment. Perfect. And I'll show you how you do this. Then we'll throw it over here and we'll move on to the next step, which is the painting. And you can opt to paint the bunnies, the flowers, everything, a whole area. It's totally up to you. All right, let me grab a stir stick and my pot of ink. This is a great color for this time of year as we're going into spring and then into summer. I have used this berry blue on a ton of different projects. This is what it looks like. It's a great color. It's great full strength. It's also really great diluted. Just putting some big globs on there. Happy Thursday, Beth. Hey, Linda. Okay. So the trick, it's not even a trick, but the thing you want to try to do when you're working with ink and fabric is make yourself get the ink on and then stop, which is easier to say than to do. Don't keep going over and over and over. I have way too much ink. Because when you do that, you can have a tendency to push, look how much extra, to push too much ink through the holes in the stencil, and then it will look blurry on your project because it kind of seeps into the fibers of fabric and spreads out. So you don't want to do that. Okay. Get everything covered. You saw I just got the ink on there. And then I scraped off the excess and then I stopped. Okay. I'm going to close up my little pot right away. All right. Okay, and I do see one little area where maybe I wasn't pushing down hard enough. I don't know. No, I think it's just an area in the design. I'm going to put this where there's not a lot of design. Okay. And it really seriously looks fabulous. Okay, this is going in my little tub of water over here. And I am just going to soak it in that tub of water until I can get out to the kitchen. When I forgot to put anything down underneath. Drats. Oh well. Okay, so let me show you. And then I will throw it to the side. And we'll clean up this because I don't want to get smudges on my other projects. So what is everyone doing? Tell me in the comments if you are a blue and white lover, if you love toile. You know, toile comes in all kinds of different colors. or if you like Delftware, or tell me if you're into any of that blue and white. I love blue and white for sure, but more than that, I really just love dishes. Dishes and decorations and doodads and stuff like that. I love. Okay, so let's come back to this stuff. This is the one that I did, that I just showed you, and I painted the flowers, and then I put a little bit on the bunnies, like on their back, right here up their tummy, on their ears, just very, very, very light. And this one I was fiddling around with before I came live also, and it's subtle. I just painted some of the leaves and flowers. This one, to do something different, we're going to do the whole entire egg. We're going to color it. And I will remember to put something underneath it. Okay, how do you get the watercolory paint? Well, what I typically do, is I'll put a blob of it in a bowl and add some water. And when I did this, I got kind of a darker, more saturated blue wash. Okay. So I'm going to dilute it a little bit further, and I'm going to work out of this glass bowl. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's seriously diluted. Making sure I don't have any big globs, and I'm just using a little paintbrush. I'm tapping off the excess, and we'll just start and see what it looks like. And I have already heat set this. The reason I do that before I start any kind of watercolor painting on it is because I don't want it to reactivate the ink, even though it's the same blue, and drag that in to what I'm watercoloring. So when you heat set it, it's not getting reactivated. I'm actually thinking that's a little bit too dark, so let's just dilute it a little bit more. And the other thing I want to tell you is, as you're getting towards your outside edges, it can have a tendency to bleed a little bit. So you want to not have your brush be super, super wet when you get to the outside edges. This is pretty too. I could come back and do that whole bunny like this if I wanted, or I think I'll just leave it the way it is so that I can show you the difference with some close-up photos when I'm all finished. This is pretty too. This is almost like this egg is a light blue, and then the design on it is this berry blue, this darker blue, which is not really a navy. It's more like a blueberry blue. Maybe that's why they named it berry blue. That would make sense, right? So let me just finish painting this. Judy says that she uses blue in her home. I used to use it more. I just go through phases. And most of the decor that we own, is stuff that either I thrifted or that my mother or my mother-in-law or other relatives and friends have gifted. I don't tend to buy very much brand new home decor. I personally prefer to sort of collect it and let it evolve over time. And then I forget what I have and I forget where I put it. So I have these tiles, these Delft tiles that my mother-in-law gave me for Christmas one year when we were pretty newly married. And this is my husband's mother and father. They loved to travel and they collected things everywhere they went. And these tiles are like, I don't know, 500 or 600 years old. They're not in great shape, but they're this blue and white Delftware. And those inspired me a lot with my decor for a while. And then I tucked them away and I can't remember where I put them. Okay, I'm going to just blot this just a little bit. I'll show you what that's going to look like. So when it's with its accompanying tea towel, it'll be beautiful. What do you guys think? I think that I'm going to have a hard time parting with these because they turned out so fabulous that I might have to keep a set for myself. Anyways, that is what I wanted to show you today. If you have any questions or you want links so you can go and see what this vintage rabbit design looks like, or what this Easter Blessings, it's a 2-piece stencil set, what it looks like. You want to look at what the different inks are, or see how much anything costs, just say blue or say link or supplies. Blue, link, or supplies, and I will give you some direct links. I'll also give you links to the tea towels that you can get in a set of 2 from Magnolia, and I will look to see if I can find the info where you can order a whole package of them from Amazon. But anyways, they're both very nice. I think they're very similar. Super good quality. These wash up good. To heat set, let me tell you about that for just a second, and I'll put this over here. To heat set, you're just going to wait until your project is 100% dry. And I'm pretending, so I'm not going to unfold this. But to protect your iron, oh, and we're going to do the ribbon, so we're not done. Stay with me. Put a piece of parchment paper in between your project and your iron. These tea towels can handle cotton setting. So I'd set it on cotton, no steam. And I'm just going to go over it for 3 or 4 minutes when I first do the blue stencil and it's dry. And then after I paint on it, I will do and it's dry, I'll do the exact same thing. Okay, let's add a ribbon border for this one, and I'll tell you about this. And this was not on. It was just to show you the process. And we'll talk about what kind of glue you can use for a project like this. Okay, so this one is completely dry and it has been heat set. And there's a couple things I could do to jazz this up. I could actually paint this seam here on the bottom, but instead I'm going to just add a little border of this grosgrain ribbon that I believe I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I think this is the Hobby Lobby brand. And this color is called, beer wick. I don't know if that's the name of the color or not. Anyways, it's a pretty blue. It's kind of a royal blue. And what I am using for hot glue is fabric glue sticks from Surebonder. And I have these glue guns are super inexpensive. They're like under $10, or right about at $10. I have one that I have Sharpie that says fabric glue on it. And I just use this one exclusively for fabric glue. But you can find the actual fabric glue sticks at Hobby Lobby is where I have found them. I don't know if I've seen them at Walmart. The other glue I have. Okay, so, and you don't have to use a ton of this. I'm just going to push my tea towel into it. So these really are going to be more of a decorative tea towel. I wouldn't clean up the kitchen counters with something this pretty, but if you want to, you could. They will be washable, dryable, and usable, even with this ribbon glued on them. Push that in the right spot. I'll show you how I typically sort of hem the ribbon on the back side. Okay, so it's glued onto the front. Let's flip this puppy over. I don't need that much, so I'm going to cut some of it off. Let's see, let me tell you how much. I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches on each side. And I'm just going to, just like when you're wrapping a package, I'm going to fold this over into itself. So it's like I hemmed it, and then I'm just going to that over. Let's put a little bit of glue right here. Pinch it closed. And that's all there is to it. Okay, let me do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to give myself about 1.5 inches. I'll do the little hem first. Do you guys have questions? So you can use any kind of ribbon that you want, as long as the ribbon isn't so fragile. You know, that's really your main concern, is that the ribbon is going to be pretty durable. And this grosgrain ribbon is fabulous to work with. So let me fold this back up. You can see what this is going to look like when it is hanging on the oven door. To get it all pressed nice and neat. You could also do a little bow around this bunny's neck if you wanted. And I think combined with this guy right here, it's going to be lovely. What do you think? Tell me in the comments if you like this idea. Marley says, I make everything look so easy. You know what? This really is easy. And the painting that I did is not precise. I didn't get every single flower. And some are darker and some are lighter. And some I went outside the lines. But overall, you get this impression of Delftware. And I enjoyed making it, and I think whoever I might give them to would love it as well. What's in that basket behind me? These are the blue and white balls that I pulled out at the start of this video to show you guys what my inspiration was. This pretty one. I've had these for a million years. They probably came from Pier 1 way back when we used to live in Seattle, which is like 25 plus years ago. And I used to have them in a pretty glass bowl. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me know if I can answer any questions for you. If you want supplies, do a this, that's a thumb, or a this, that's a heart. Sprinkle, sprinkle if you feel like it. Look back here later in these comments because I'll get close-up pictures and I'll post those. And then I'll also post them just here on DIY Dreaming.